Welcome to this explainer. Look, today we're diving straight into the absolute rock-solid foundation every single business needs to build before they spend even a single rupee on artificial intelligence. I mean, we hear the buzzwords endlessly, right? But we're going to break down what actually separates the companies striking gold with AI from the ones who are just, well, throwing their budgets into a black hole. All right, let's picture a massive state-of-the-art manufacturing plant. Just imagine you've spent crores of rupees on this prime real estate. You've imported the absolute latest CNC machines from Germany, you've got cutting-edge robotics everywhere, and you've even brought in top-tier global consultants to set the whole thing up. On paper, the blueprints look flawless. It looks like you've just built the most advanced factory in the entire country. But then launch day hits, and it is absolute chaos. Why? Because the invisible operational glue that actually holds a business together is completely missing. It's literally a nightmare. You've got operators standing in front of million-dollar machines with zero training. Raw materials are running late, your departments are completely siloed, tracking things on totally different spreadsheets. Nobody knows who to call when things break down because, well, maintenance schedules just don't exist. Oh, and management is demanding results, but there are absolutely no clear production targets. So, will that factory perform well just because it has the latest machines? I love asking this because the answer is obviously no way, right? I mean, we can all intuitively look at that disaster and agree the problem isn't the machines. The German engineering is flawless. The problem is that the factory as a complete ecosystem simply isn't ready. Now, hold on to that thought, because this perfectly mirrors what's happening in the corporate world right now. If we just seamlessly swap out those expensive factory machines for artificial intelligence, well, you see the exact way modern companies are treating AI today. They are rushing out to buy the shiny new machines and completely ignoring the factory floor. We see companies buying enterprise licenses for tools like ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, or Gemini, and they're expecting the business to become radically more productive overnight. But give it a few months and they hit those exact same operational brick walls. The reality check sets in. They realize people aren't using the tools consistently. Because the company's data is a mess, the AI's outputs are totally unreliable. And at the end of the day, the measurable business impact, it's just much, much smaller than they thought it'd be when they signed that massive software contract. So right about then, frustrated leaders inevitably start asking, hey, is AI just overhyped? But if we look closely and think back to our messy factory, we know for a fact that is entirely the wrong question to ask. Blaming AI for your organizational chaos is literally like blaming that German CNC machine because your raw materials showed up late. The real crucial point here is making a massive mindset shift. We need to ask if our organization was truly prepared to extract value from this powerful technology in the first place. Actually, scratch that. It's more like, were we fundamentally ready to bring this level of power into our current workflow at all? Let's look at a fascinating real-world example to really cement this. I call this the Pune paradox. Picture two identical automotive component manufacturers based in Pune. On the surface, they're twins. Both have about 800 employees. Both decide to invest in the exact same AI solution to speed up quality inspections on their production lines. I mean, they buy identical software, they use the same implementation partner, and their project budgets are matched, basically rupee for rupee. But let's fast forward just 1 year later. We see a massive divergence in results, despite them starting from the exact same place. Company A, they've aggressively reduced inspection times, massively improved product quality, and they've already expanded their AI into inventory planning and preventative maintenance. Meanwhile, Company B is just stalled. They're still struggling with that initial 12-month pilot they launched a year ago. Now, you might look at that massive gap and think, okay, the technology must have been the differentiator. Like, did one company secretly have a better AI or a smarter algorithm running behind the scenes? The answer is a resounding no. The secret was entirely in the setup. The winning company, Company A, built a very specific foundation first. Before they ever turned the AI on, they made sure their data was spotless. Their leadership actually sat down and agreed on what success looked like. Their employees were trained on why this change was happening, not just how to click a few new buttons. And they had a clear, mathematical process for measuring their results. Company B just threw AI at their existing chaos, hoping for a magic fix, and it just proves that AI simply cannot fix a broken foundation. And this brings us to a huge misconception. When people hear artificial intelligence, they immediately start obsessing over the models. You've seen it, leaders wasting hours debating ChatGPT versus Claude, or Gemini versus Llama. Endless meetings comparing features. And sure, those conversations are fun, but honestly, they're a huge distraction.
They completely miss the bigger picture, and they are definitely not the conversations you should be having on day one.
To really lock this concept in, let's look at AI through a totally different lens. Think of AI like hiring a new employee. Imagine you somehow managed to recruit the absolute smartest, most brilliant engineer in the entire country, just a true visionary. Would your business automatically become wildly successful the very second they walk through the front door? Of course not. Even that absolute genius is going to fail if you stick them in a broken environment with zero direction. Think about it. If nobody tells them what problems to solve, if they can't access any information because the data is hidden, if departments are working in total isolation, and if getting a simple decision approved takes 3 weeks, that brilliant engineer is going to struggle, get super frustrated, and ultimately fail. AI works in exactly the same way.
So the reality here is a pretty stark contrast. Yes, the technology itself is incredibly capable, but its success is entirely dictated by the environment you place it in. Drop advanced tech into a disorganized mess, and you know what happens? You just get disorganized results, much faster.
So, what does all this mean? This brings us to a core concept from KlaritiQ that every modern professional really needs to grasp. If it's not about having the smartest algorithm, and it's not about buying the most expensive software, what exactly is AI readiness? You might want to take some notes here because this definition is a total game changer. AI readiness is an organization's ability to adopt AI, use it responsibly, and consistently create measurable business value from it. Notice how it focuses entirely on the organization, not the software. In fact, what's really fascinating here is what KlaritiQ intentionally leaves out of that definition. If you look at it again, there is absolutely zero mention of ChatGPT, large language models, or AI agents. And that is completely by design. Why? Because while the specific models and the technology are going to change every few months, there's always a new update, a new release, some new competitor, your organization's internal ability to adapt is what actually matters. Clean data, aligned leadership, a flexible culture, those things take years to build. And that adaptability is what gives you a long-term competitive advantage. No competitor can just copy and paste that. So I'm going to leave you with a final provocative thought to chew on before you sign off on your next major tech rollout or buy that next shiny software license. Look internally and really ask yourself, is your business obsessing over the machines, or are you actually doing the hard work of building the foundation? Because at the end of the day, the foundation is the only thing that guarantees those machines will actually work.